Yes, hi, my people. Yes, good evening, good afternoon to you all. Yes, I hope I meet you all well. Yes, it is Sunday today, resting day. Yes, you're all welcome to the stream. I salute you. I bring you good tidings. Yes, today is Sunday, the 16th day of the 10th month of October 2022. Yes, I'm your host. Frank Below is my name. Live streaming all the way from London. Yes, episode 205 of the usual series we ignited. Well, going to 2 years now that we have to treat. Episode 205 of the hashtag The Bleeding Edge. Welcome to another great stream. Osaro Benjamin, good afternoon to you. You're watching this stream on YouTube. Steve Osagie, good evening to you. You're watching the stream on Facebook. Abigail Wankwo, good evening to you. Folake Alawiye, you're watching the stream as well on YouTube. Good evening to you. I hope I meet you guys well. The rest will join us at some point in time. On my personal page, I've seen those of you that are watching, two of them, Helen Obafemi, I can see you, even though you're not commenting. Good afternoon to you from London. Abiyo Omotumbis, I can equally spot you on my personal page. Good afternoon, good evening to you as well. Yes, guys, you can clearly see it. Yes. Like, subscribe to the channel on YouTube, and last but not the least, share the stream. This episode 205 that we want to dig in. I'm going to take this call and I'll just tell that person I am live. I am live on screen. I'm live on Facebook and YouTube. Yes, sorry about that, guys. Like I said, episode 205. That's exactly what we want to deal with today. I hope it is not going to be brutal, but sometimes we can get ourselves into dangerous, murky waters. I hope not to go that direction. Listen, yesterday I watched Will with my heart beating. Yesterday, as one of our outspoken agitator, whom you know very well, I'll mention her name, Tenny Omologo, who apparently analyzed my stream of this Wednesday gone. And I think that was on the 12th of October 2022. Yes, Tenny Omologo, thank you. And once again, I want to say thank you. And lastly, thank you for the justice that you have done to that stream, which I'm not going to go into all those details, but definitely Tenny did a good job. About my stand and the fact that I am unshakable, and I still maintain the fact that I don't believe in a Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidency or Atiku presidency or Peter Obi presidency or any jargon, any rubbish that they want to present to you as president in 2023. The difficult question I'm still asking is, will there be any 2023? And will there be any Nigeria in 2023? James Coker, you are on Facebook. I can see you're on Facebook and not YouTube. You see, in episode 205, before I go into the meaty part of what we want to talk about this great Sunday afternoon, evening in London, let me quickly run you through some of the things that I have in store for you. We're going to look into both of this candidate, and this was just an opinion that was suggested or written about by Professor Usman Yusuf. We will look into that. We definitely will look into the 7 years of a bloody useless APC government in power. I've got some points that I want to buttress. And I've equally got a message for those of you who are Tinubu's blind followers. This perhaps will then be followed by 10 reasons people should discard Bola Ahmed Tinubu. 10 reasons that Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be discarded. In other words, get rid of him. If time permits, I'll go into some rail projects with you, and I'll benchmark the Ethiopian example. And again, if time permits, I'll go through with you those marvelous things that the late Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde did in 4 years. In 4 years, if time permits. This will then be followed, if time permits again, on the state of the nation. Is Nigeria and the politicians self-deceiving themselves, or self-deceiving a nasty piece of contraption called Nigeria? I've got those outlined for you. I'll try to make it simple. Simple in the sense that I'll probably mix. It's going to be a fusion of Pidgin English, Yoruba, and straight English. Before we go further, this stream was long overdue. Long overdue. Now, many of you are aware that Nnamdi Kanu, the IPOB leader, has been released. You see, released, but then the ridiculous people in government, especially your Attorney General and Justice Minister, the Fulani man, called Malami, then said, oh, he was discharged but not acquitted. That's the language. See, what I want to make known is this. The release of Nnamdi Kanu with the current wave of agitation from the west, the southwest, in Yoruba land. You all know that the agitation is predominantly dominated by groups that I'll call separatist. But then some people hate me for using the word separatist as agitators. Whether you are an agitator, you are still a separatist. So the release of Nnamdi Kanu with the current agitation from the southwest and the southeast, especially the Emilokon mantra in the southwest. Now, some of you can clearly see that it is now obvious. Some groups seriously agitating for a Yoruba self-determination now wants to team up with a Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidency. I don't know how that will work. But the question that I'm going to ask with the release of Nnamdi Kanu, is Nnamdi Kanu released to divide the obedient movement and Biafra? I'm in Olayinka. Good evening. Think about it. It's the release of Nnamdi Kanu a weapon by the political class to divide the obedient movement and Biafra. Darani Jojuwon, Elisha Oyedele, good evening. Think about it. What's the deal? You see, Asorok, the presidential villa, and the cabals deliberately kept Nnamdi Kanu for a reason. But now that their time is about to expire, are they going to release Nnamdi Kanu to truncate the East? Because INEC, Independent National Electoral Commission, the body responsible for conducting elections in Location 9, is now claiming that because of insecurity in the Northwest, they doubt if they will conduct election in the Northwest, and the same in the Southeast. Insecurity, Northwest and the Southeast. Are we really looking any further? Is Nigeria going to be in a mess? Is there going to be a revolt? Is there going to be a revolution that's been looming? Will people, especially the youths, will they take to the street? Will this street that these youths will take to, which I can smell is hovering over Nigeria, will be far more worse than the answers? Take it or you leave it. It will be far more worse than answers. Their 8 years of two-term is almost coming to an end. The budget, Asorok, had a budget of 14 billion naira on internet. 14 billion naira on internet. Before we go again into all those lineup I had for you, let us revisit history just a little bit and let us recap. This political dispensation that we are currently having to experience is perhaps the most horrible democratic experience in the history of that nation called Nigeria. You see, When you look at those military era, the military days, we got the likes of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and all these rogue bastards who call themselves politicians since 1999 to date. 23 years. Driving the military completely away from power. Now, you can now see the reasons why the likes of Bola Ahmed Tinubu and 99.9% of those ridiculous politicians never wanted the military in power. The reason is because of the looting that is currently in vogue in that nation. They want their own fair share of the cake. Military versus civil rule. 1999 to date so far is the worst of any democratic activities in that shithole called Nigeria. I've never seen anything like this in my life. I've never seen a situation whereby one senator that was nobody could acquire so much wealth and luxury cars and luxury items to the extent that a fellow senator paid this former senator, no longer in the Senate, a visit to his house. And this same man was proud enough to show the Malam round all those exotic cars he parked in his yard. Phantom, different Rolls Royce, exotic power bikes. What really pisses me off and why I am so angry, somebody else who claimed to be a publisher and equally one of the presidential candidates but never made it, will even showcase many of these vagabonds who looted the country so dry, showcasing wealth that rightfully belongs to each and everybody in that country. Episode 205 of the Bleeding Edge is what we're treating today. Guys, if you haven't shared the stream, please do. Dele Bello, good evening. You're watching the stream on YouTube. Right. Let's go to the nitty-gritty of episode 205. Ade Omoluabi Oduduwa, I can spot you. See, both the PDP and the APC's primary, make no mistakes, was fraudulent, mad, with stolen money. PDP did not give Atiku Abubakar ticket. Atiku Abubakar bought the ticket with stolen money, both from the customs when he was at the customs and as vice president to Olusegun Obasanjo in 1999. PDP, I repeat, did not give Atiku Abubakar the ticket. He bought it with stolen money, stolen Nigerian money. Southerners, the combination of everyone in the South, Southwest, Midwest, and the Southeast, Southerners in general, could not even resist Atiku's dollar bill. They couldn't. They couldn't. And that is why they are in a deep hole at the moment. And Wike is currently holding them by the balls. Now, Atiku's choice of running mate, let me break this down, was based on who he, in case he wins, Okowa as his choice, was because Atiku wanted somebody he can control or manipulate. Hence, Delta State Governor Okowa drafted him. Okowa is a puppet. Okowa is a puppet of the Fulanis. Go back and watch exactly the devastation in Warri. And obviously, Atiku, having learned the hard way, the way Obasanjo messed his political career up. Obasanjo was too strong for Atiku. Otherwise, Atiku should have toppled OBJ. So, but because he knew what Obasanjo did to him, he doesn't want a vice that will do the same thing to him should he, if there's any 2023, become president. All of them knew that they will not, Atiku will not be able to control a rugged politician like Wike. Let's come down to Emilokan, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, his adoptive name. Bola Ahmed Tinubu equally bought his own ticket with money and guess what? Threats. Dollar. Stolen Lagos funds and threats. He made threats. And remember, I showed you guys some of Bola Ahmed Tinubu's threats. He bought his own ticket too. He bought that ticket with stolen money and with threats. There was no need to keep agreement. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's choice of candidate running mate was based on who is ruthless enough to champion the northern Muslim votes. So Shetima fits in, which was why he was a better choice. Shetima is a ruthless, rabid, northern Muslim, radical, the kingpin of Boko Haram. You see, where I have problem, my problem is the fact that Bola Ahmed Tinubu bought his way outright with stolen Lagos funds and then quickly picked a ruthless Boko Haram sponsor and leader. Does that mean that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is equally a signatory to Boko Haram and Fulani Herdsmen? I'm just asking. Which is why I said I don't believe in a Bola Ahmed Tinubu presidency or Atiku presidency. I don't believe. Or Peter Obi. For me, Nigeria should be terminated. Nigeria should not exist anymore. That contract expired in 2014. 14 expired. Long time. Alaji Aremu Alakufo Ibadan, welcome to the stream. Francis Chinedu Anyaora, welcome to the stream. If you were not particularly looking into that. Now, the supporters of both Atiku and Tinubu are the long-term structures that have kept us in perpetual darkness, whilst the rest of the world are making progress. They've kept you in perpetual darkness, and they don't want you to get out of the mess they've kept you in, because all they want is to keep the devil to continue to rule over a nasty piece of a decapitated nation called Nigeria. See, this breed of politicians that all of you are running after, they use their structures to collapse the national structures. They've destroyed education. They've destroyed the healthcare system. No good roads, no electricity in 62 years, no pipe-borne water. You've destroyed the structures that all our founding fathers created. And they've replaced those structures inclusive of the structures that the colonial masters left behind. The legacy of colonization, they've destroyed it in 23 years. And you see everyone running after all these shithole leaders. They've kept you in darkness. You're not making any progress. The reasons why you're not making any progress, or they're not telling you exactly what they want to do that will change your lives and the lives of your children. The reason is because they want to keep each and every one of you in perpetual darkness, so that their evil activities and their grip over you will continue. Too many of you are not looking into that. You're not. And that's why, for me, 2023 is a no-go area. I don't believe in all this bullshit. And I don't believe in all this mess. And I cannot follow or run after any hopeless, ridiculous human being that are satanic in their agenda towards their own people. Obi picked Labour Party based, well, they claim based on his integrity and financial prudence. Whether Obi will do it, Obi, for me, Obi is just blah, 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 blah. Just the same way that the Nadeko people, to which, well, Bola Ahmed Tinubu and many of them said they were part and parcel of. They were all doing like this to the military as at that time. Perhaps Babangida was the only military leader that took the strongest whip in the back. They drove the military away. And when they got there, they then started amassing wealth upon wealth for themselves. Peter Obi is equally blaspheming. Let him get there. Let him get there. Tide will change. Remember, don't forget, in 2014, the real authentic Muhammadu Buhari and Bola Tinubu, and even inclusive of this same Atiku Abubakar, were all doing like this. They said they will fight corruption. They will pay gyro to unemployed youths in the country. Nothing was done. Nothing. I don't believe in Peter Obi, likewise, Atiku or Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What do I believe? Rather than conduct elections in 2023, let them throw in a referendum and see which part of the country wants to be part of the continuity or continuation of a national disaster, a country of disaster called Nigeria. A country that cannot even take care of its own citizen. They can't. A country whereby in 2022, 17-year-old, 16-year-old girls, 20, 21-year-old girls that were born that period in 1999 are in Ghana doing prostitution, in Niger doing prostitution, in Mali doing prostitution, in Burkina Faso doing prostitution, in Libya doing prostitution, and as far as India doing prostitution. That's why I don't believe in that project called Nigeria anymore. Let them throw in a referendum instead of the 2023 elections to see which one wants to go. For me, that is an option to a 2023 general elections. And I'm going to tell you exactly what they want to play up with. You see, as bad as things are, perhaps many of you are not aware that the Emir of Qatar recently rejects Buhari's planned state visit. Are you aware of that? Wasiu Akinyele, welcome to the stream. Are you aware that the Emir of Qatar in UAE rejects Buhari's planned state visit to the Emirate? Do you know why? The Emir of Qatar is a noble man. He's a man full of integrity and the fear of God, the fear of Allah. Many of you perhaps don't know why he rejected Buhari's planned state visit. Because he knew the game they are playing in Asorok. That Buhari is a fake Muhammadu Buhari, and he doesn't want to be part and parcel of receiving a fake, dodgy, latex silicon Muhammadu Buhari. Many of you are not aware. What about the World Bank that said emphatically to Yemi Osinbajo to go back home to his country to address the staggered exchange rates in Nigeria? Seven years in power. They're now coming to the end of that period. And guess what the Fulanis are doing? One fury, gbogbo yin, àti Igbo, àti Yoruba, àti everybody, all of you in the South. One fury, one thing bad one. They're using your head. Knock. Let us use them to knock themselves in the head. Seven years in power. Good evening, Fumi. Good evening, Love Doris. 7 years. Remember, the real authentic Muhammadu Buhari argued in 2014 debate that subsidy was a fraud. He even drafted in the late Professor Tam David West. You remember that man? That was Minister of Petroleum when he was a military junta. To buttress that argument that the then Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's petroleum subsidy was a fraud. Thank you, Helen Obafemi. It is the only platform that truth is spoken to powers. 7 years. Over 7 years, basically, in power. They did not remove any petroleum subsidy. Now that they are about to leave, they have scheduled subsidy removal for July 2023. If there's any 2023, there has to be a sitting president May 29. But then they scheduled subsidy removal for July, May, June, July, 2 months after they vacate office. So whether it is Peter Obi, if there's any 2023, or whether it is Tinubu or an Atiku presidency, that translates to mean subsidy continues. Seven years in power. They did not implement Oronsanye report that would have saved 900 billion naira per annum. No. Now that they have finished using the loophole to fleece you lot that call yourselves Nigerians, they are now awakening that excellent report. They now want to go back to that Oronsanye's report. There are so many reports that you guys are not aware of. Don't let this surprise you. 7 years in power. Just recently, they declared Tompolo wanted and then looted from the insecure pipelines, crude oil. It's all over the places. You see, the people stealing the Nigerian oil with bunkering, NNPC main pipeline. Some people will just go halfway and then dig a hole and then connect their own pipes that will take the oil. So literally, according to that investigation, Nigeria was losing almost about 700,000 barrels of crude oil or over in a day. Who are those behind the stealing of the crude oil? The politicians. Insecure pipelines. Now they have filled their guts, their belly done full with stolen black gold, and as they are about to leave, they have rewarded, let me use the word, rewarded those same contracts to Tompolo that they declared wanted. It is only in Nigeria that even the big men, they will steal. The big men are the ones stealing crude oil. Where are those crude oil? Which country are they selling those crude oil to? Which country? Don't let this surprise you. But it surprises me. But then I know that they think they are wise. Bola Ahmed Tinubu think he's wise. Atiku Abubakar think he's wise. So also Peter Obi think he is equally wise. They think they are wise. See, everything I've spelt to you about their 7 years in power surprises me. But then and again, I am not surprised, because right all the way from the top of the echelon of the Nigerian society to the bottom of the ladder, to the cleaners, are all corrupt. It's a nation of fraudsters, a nation that corruption is endemic and it has eaten into the fabrics of the nation. What everybody wants is, oh, it will soon be my turn, and we will steal, we will loot. They've bled Nigeria to death. Why do you think they want to hold on to power? They want to hold on to power so that they can continue to control you and then unleash their satanic and evil agenda over you. And you can't see the writings on the wall. And for those of you who are Tinubu's blind followers, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's blind followers, let me remind you, I've showcased the Dubai experience or experiment for you. Those of you blind beggars, blind beggars, let me remind you, it took just 25 years to build Dubai in the UAE. 25 years. See, of all those presidential aspirants, Tinubu is the only aspirant that I know who has, by way of manipulation, controlled a state for 25 years in Nigeria. By proxy. Make no mistakes. He was ruling behind closed doors since 1999. I'm still coming there. See, I have 10 reasons that I want to give you. And maybe they can send it to Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself. All of you that are his dogs. And many of you that are his blind beggars. I'm going to give you 10 reasons not to vote for a Bola Ahmed Tinubu. 10 reasons. I still haven't seen that comment. Or no. on Adiola Fortune Michael. I can see it on my personal page, but it's not coming up on the studio. Maybe it's going to come later. Yes, 10 reasons not to vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu and to just ditch the 2023 completely. Now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, make no mistakes, is probably or perhaps the most dangerous politician alive today in Nigeria. Far more dangerous than IBB and Obasanjo combined. Let me tell you, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a very smart ass. Very smart ass. He's very ambitious. Hence, ẹgbẹ́ kínní ìwà èmi ló kàn. I don't believe in all those bullshit. Very ambitious. Bola Tinubu is very immoral. Because he's very immoral and ruthless. That's why he's extremely rich. He's running for your presidency. He forced himself to want to run on the party. Remember, he said if he doesn't click or clinch that APC nomination, he will tell Nigerians who is living in Aso Rock. Maybe you have forgotten. Let's see. I think I have it somewhere here. Yeah. Here. It's on your way. It's coming. A WhatsApp group. You can clearly see. You can see that's an iPhone. That's an iPhone. And you can clearly see the names of the group. GCM Satellite Men. Bola Ahmed Tinubu threatened them that I will sink Nigeria. I will open up who really rules Nigeria. I will tell Nigerians who gave the order to shoot at Lekki Toll Gate. I will make Nigerians to understand that Boko Haram leaders is still alive and somewhere in Aso Rock. Was he really talking to Nasiru El Rufai? By proxy. The president ruling in Aso Rock. And again he said, I will open up who sent Fulani to kill worshippers at Owo last Sunday. That was before the primaries. I will make sure that this election doesn't hold if I don't win the APC ticket, a man, listen to that, a man from Sudan can detect for Nigeria. His work in Asorok has ended. He should allow the real owners of Nigeria to decide. We paid him for his job, and it has ended. See? Does this mean Bola Ahmed Tinubu is playing alongside that game of throne and deception, knowing fully well that he knows there was a Sudanese ruling as Muhammadu Buhari? And could this be the reasons why the Emir of Qatar simply doesn't want to honor a fake, dodgy, latex, silicone Muhammadu Buhari? Joyce Peters, you said you first heard of me through 10 yesterday. Oh, thank you. Yes, I think I've given a very big accolade for doing a great summary on that stream. 10 logo. Yes, thanks for that. Here on this platform, here on this platform, we say it as it is, and we are very ruthless. Ten reasons. See, reason number one why you don't have to vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu. For me, I would have thought that awareness, Nigerians should be crying that they don't really want elections, but they want a referendum. That was what I would have thought the Yoruba World Congress and Yoruba Nation Now movement ought to have done. Rather than now saying they want to join Bola Ahmed Tinubu's presidency. Like I said, I'm not part and parcel of that nonsense. And I don't want to be associated with that nonsense. Number one reason why you should disown Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I want to give it to you. Bola Tinubu does not have any child heritage. No childhood heritage. And the reason is because the strongest form of citizenship is by birth. Number one, he doesn't have a childhood heritage. So, but because under that, the strongest form of any citizenship on any child is by birth. That place you were born determines who you are. Because that place that you are born means the very first water that goes through your mouth the moment you were born is that place. So he doesn't have any childhood heritage. Likewise, the strongest form of legitimacy of any child are proofs of his or her ancestry. Family origin, childhood life, and relationships. Because Bola Tinubu refused to declare his childhood heritage, his origins are shrouded in secrecy and in darkness, including his primary and secondary education. This is the man you want to put in power. That you don't really know his parental lineage. Fine. Anyone can adopt any name. So, what is Bola Ahmed Tinubu hiding is the question. Is he hiding something from us that we don't know, that we ought to know? And what is the main purpose of the Secret Service, the State Security Service, SSS, in investigating anyone that wants to go in and vie for the highest office in the land? What is Bola Ahmed Tinubu hiding from his childhood heritage? Listen, no matter how lowly and lack of inability to provide your background, is Bola Tinubu hiding his background? Is Bola Ahmed Tinubu ashamed of his parental background? This is worrisome. It is a worrisome trait. Associated with some of the worst of criminals. Someone who deliberately conceals his childhood history is not a man you want to trust with the highest office in the land. That's number one reason. And I find it extremely disturbing that the Yoruba World Congress and Yoruba Nation Now movement is now having to be associated with such a man that we cannot even trace his ancestral history. Number two, he's not fit to run or to be elected into the highest office in the country because Bola Ahmed Tinubu has history of criminality. He's got criminal history. I'm not saying record, history. I'll quote this person. David Hondein has done a great job in exposing the criminal history of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as it relates to drug trafficking in his article, From Drug to Presidential Candidate. And as a typical criminal that he is, attempts have been made to erase the documents from its online storage site. The court containing suit filed against Tinubu was completely burnt down in Lagos in 2009. In Lagos in 2020. This is not someone you want to elect as a president. Third reasons why Bola Tinubu is unfit. Unfit for that office. He's got an ambition, unbridled ambition. A lot of the immorality and evil we see in bad Bola Ahmed Tinubu can be traced to this trait. Bola Tinubu has a very contentious relationship with his former deputy governors. Deputy governor. And hear what that woman, Koforola Akerele-Bokdo, said about it in an interview on her 70th birthday in the year 2009. The real bone, quote, Koforola Akerele-Bokdo, former deputy governor to Bola Tinubu between the year 1999 to 2005. But she was eventually removed. Quote, the real bone of contention was that he wanted to be vice president to Atiku in 2007, and he wanted my support in taking over the party, Alliance for Democracy, from the leader. Of course, supporting himself and Atiku for the 2007 election was wrong. Muslim ticket. I felt the party elders made us governor and deputy. You don't bite the finger that feeds you. I also thought it was rather too early. They were planning in 1999, while the election was in 2007. I felt it was bad to face the task of governance ahead of us, rather than plotting how some people will be vice president and president in 2007. Now picture this back to when Atiku then made Obasanjo's life hell as vice president. Yes. You see, did you hear that? You see, in 1999, Bola Tinubu has not even started governing Lagos as a governor, and he was already plotting to seize the party structure. Take note of the emphasis. This is definitely not the man you want to make president and place in command of your armed forces. Episode 205 of The Bleeding Edge is what we're talking about. And I promised, I said, it can be rough, it can be nasty. Number 4 reasons Bola Tinubu is a kleptomaniac. He's a kleptomaniac. Tinubu's greed and primitive acquisition of properties knows no boundary. It is believed that the value of lands he owns in Lagos, the value of lands Bola Ahmed Tinubu owns in Lagos is over 500 billion naira. Did you hear that? Bola Tinubu continues to suck from the treasury of Lagos, of the 5th largest economy in Africa. He sucks Lagos treasury like a leech. This is how he became extremely wealthy and powerful. He can employ thousands of experts to work for him and pay them handsomely without feeling it. Remember, the bullion van and the reply he gave. Because of this, being a kleptomaniac. This is why Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not fit to rule. Number 5. I'm coming to all your comments. I hope I have not provoked. Number 5. You think Sani Abacha and Ibrahim Babangida were dictatorial? No, sir. But I can authoritatively confirm that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is dictatorial. Reason is because it is common knowledge that Tinubu is the one who determines who becomes governor of Lagos State. He's the only governor of the 1999 era who still controls everything that happens politically in Lagos State. Bola Tinubu has totally seized the party structure in Lagos. He's hijacked it. And everyone, like it or not, does Bola Ahmed Tinubu's bidding. See, the moment you go against his wishes, you cannot win your election. Everyone are all Bola Tinubu's servants. And guess what? He's their overlord. He's their mini god. Demigod. Nobody will tell you all this, but this is the truth. I'm coming. Number 6. I want to talk about Bola Ahmed Tinubu's failing health. It is not news any longer. It's no longer news that Tinubu is ailing. His health is not good. I don't wish it on him, but his real age has caught up with him. Well, if you observe Bola Tinubu very well, his slurred speech, his constantly trembling hands, his poor cognition are all very visible to the casual observer. His hands shaking, trembling. Waziri Adamu, a former Minister of Police Affairs, said on national TV that he has intelligence that Bola Ahmed Tinubu went to France, taking care of his health, and that they will roast him when the time comes. I also gathered from close sources that Tinubu has urinary incontinence. You can clearly see that from some of his clothing. To be clear, it is not a crime to face health challenges. It is not a crime, and nobody wishes. I mean, nobody can talk about the health status of anyone, and because we don't really know exactly what will happen to us as well in the next minute. Bola Tinubu has got health challenges, especially at his age, because that real age is now catching up on him. But what I feel is the biggest crime of all is for Bola Tinubu to want to seek the highest office in the land when he knows that his health is seriously failing. The sixth reason, this is why you don't want him. If there's any 2023. Seventh reason why Tinubu is unfit to rule, govern, is that he hates accountability. Tinubu will not be accountable to anyone if he becomes president. Accountability is answerability. So many questions have been asked about his source of wealth, his age, his certificates, and his parental lineage. He's never bothered to answer those questions, or any of them. He He turns down questions. He will also most likely avoid a presidential debate. Because Bola Tinubu hates accountability, this is the foundation. Accountability, mind you, is the foundation of good governance, and accountability is part of transparency. Bola Ahmed Tinubu lacks accountability. This, on the seventh reason, is why he's not fit. Eight, he abhors justice, equity, and fairness. He abhors. He doesn't like justice. He doesn't like equity. And he doesn't like to be fair. See, during his campaign and consultation leading to the primaries, Bola Tinubu visited all states. He visited all states in the contraption called Nigeria, except Southeast states. He never put his foot on Southeast states. His presidential campaign council was made up of eminent politicians from all regions except the Southeast. Why does Bola Tinubu not regard the Igbos? Why? This tells you how his presidency is going to be. A government of marginalization. They're already giving you the sign. Extra level. First change. Next level. Now extra level. Number 9, why he's not fit to govern. He helped facilitated the emergence of Buhari. I don't have to go into any other lucrative story. You know the story yourself. Last but not the least, the 10th reason he's not fit to govern. He's not developed himself further. There's no evidence anywhere that Bola Ahmed Tinubu has earned any additional degrees or qualifications, taking extra courses in the last 30 years. Leaders are learners, because leaders will have to learn. Leaders are dedicated because they want a continuous improvement. And the moment that continuity of improvement is implemented, or they're going through it, they have to learn and apply the learning process. It's obvious that Bola Tinubu is now very obsolete. And he's intellectually sterile. Intellectually, he's not productive and incapable of leading a complex nation in a 21st century world of internet, information superhighway, and tech. episode 205 of The Bleeding Edge. That's exactly what we are dealing with. The bad and the ugly of Location 9. You're welcome. You're welcome back. Okay. You see, the Dubai experiment I outlined some time ago, and I did make mention of it, that it's taking Dubai 25 years to turn the desert into a first world. You see, the Chinese are now recolonizing many of the African nations with their own different agenda in the New World Order, NWO. You see, I want to look at two different countries that a Chinese company built their railways. You see, as opposed to the Lagos state government, light rail. I want to go to Ethiopia, whose capital is Addis Ababa. And the reasons why I said Bola Ahmed Tinubu hates accountability, you will see. Ethiopia, the same company, the same Chinese company that built a 759 kilometer of heavy duty standard gauge rail from Djibouti to Ethiopia, built the Lagos Light Rail. Listen very carefully. The total cost of a 759 kilometer heavy duty standard gauge rail from Djibouti to Ethiopia cost the Ethiopian government $5.2 million. No, the total of the 759 kilometer heavy duty standard gauge rail cost the Ethiopian government $4.5 billion. The total cost. Now, this translates to mean that $5.2 million constructed 1 kilometer each of the 759 kilometer heavy duty standard gauge heavy duty. The same company, the same Chinese company that built the Djibouti to Ethiopia rail equally built the Lagos Light Rail. Now, Lagos Light Rail has 27 kilometers in total. 27 kilometers, and it cost the Lagos state government $1.5 billion. in total. So that means each kilometer of that light rail cost Lagos state government $54 million per kilometer. 54. Djibouti 759 kilometer per kilometer cost Ethiopian government 5.2 million. But as opposed, ours is a light rail, not a standard gauge, heavy duty standard gauge. Heavy duty standard gauge means it can carry cargo and it can carry passenger at the same time. But Lagos 27 kilometer light rail is like the Docklands light railway. 27 kilometer in total, 1.5 billion naira, $54 million per kilometer. Conclude. Okay, back in China, where records must be submitted to the stock exchange, the company that built both lines reported that what they were paid for the Lagos rail is 181 million US dollars. In China, the company listed it in their stock exchange that Lagos state government paid 181 million US dollars for the Lagos light rail project. But Tinubu's Lagos said they spent $1.5 billion. Lagos people should ask Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, where he kept the remaining 1.2 billion US dollars, since it's been quoted on the Chinese stock exchange that the company was paid 181 million US dollars. You heard. Many people are not asking questions. They're not. That is the Bola Tinubu, that is the man. Emilio Khan. Yes. 1.2 billion. Yeah. Let's look at what Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde achieved in just 4 years. From 23rd July, I mean, he was born 1929, he died 2021. Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde, the first governor to present a billion naira state budget in Nigeria. He phased out the shift system in Lagos state schools in 3 months. He built functional classrooms to absorb those who only attend schools for first 3 hours a day. Opened up what is now known as the Lekki Corridor. Built the biggest housing estate by a state government at Abesan along with 5 other estates. Jakande built LASU, Lagos State College of Education, and Lagos State Polytechnic and technical schools to absorb the products of the free education policy. Built general hospitals and health centers in all the 5 divisions of Lagos. Created the Agric Hub at Okoba. He also created similar hubs in Ikorodu, Ekpe, and Badagry. Jakande's government strict adherence to the party manifesto of free education, free health care, rural integration, and housing for all, along with other European governors, created the largest pool of human resources in Nigeria. He moved the Lagos State Government Secretariat from PWD to Alausa, where they are currently, which he built from scratch. He lived in his personal house and drove his personal car throughout his period as governor of Lagos. I can testify to that. Jakande built the Lagos State House of Assembly complex, built the Lagos State Television, established general hospital in zones all over the state with assurance of free health care. He established Teacher Training College and the College of Education. Built low-cost houses in Ijaye, Dolphin, Okeafa, Ije, Abesan, Iponri, Ipaja, Abulenla, Ekpe, Amuwo, Odofin, Anikantamo, Surulere, Iba, Ikorodu, Badagry, Isheri, Olowu, and Orishigun. He established the Water Management Board and the Waste Disposal Board on the 18th of August 1980. Constructed the Adinyo Water Works to increase water supply in the state to 18.16 million liters per day. On and on. Well over 32 that we can count. Let's be honest with ourselves. What about Bola Ahmed Tinubu? What were his achievements? 4 years. Helen Obafemi, let's take all your comments and then we will wind up the stream. You said Jakande was a working governor. Olasukome Lawal said Bola is a thief. Joyce Peter, our newcomer. How can intelligent adults possibly believe is the best person to rule? Tinubu is the best person to rule a nation. I wonder, my brother. Adeniyi George Oyebanjo, good evening to you. Oluwaseun Nexi Talabi. You said, don't you have to declare all your properties and how you got them before declaring for presidency? Annie, SSS should have investigated all of them. Nigeria is the only wayward country in the whole world that they don't screen their president. What a useless piece of a nation. Helen Obafemi, you said, I am scared of our lives if he's allowed to be president. Wọ́n kàn máa gbéyàn pa ni on the road and nothing will happen. Oh dear. Joyce Peters. Joyce Peters. A woman? Sorry, I thought you. That's an ambitious, ruthless game by you. And again, you said here, I seriously question his heritage. He seems to have an ingrained hatred for the Yoruba people and seems to be out to punish us. You may be right. Helen Obafemi, you said that YWC joining Bola Tinubu shocked me to the bone. Don't be surprised. I came out and I said, mba, I'm not part and parcel of that shithole. Yes, guys, 2 hours and 1 minute. Yes, there are other comments below again. Helen Obafemi, let's post your comment. I worked in his government in Lagos State Television LTV, Channel 8, at the start of my... Yes, you're right. You're an old veteran. Yes, Channel 8, Lagos State. I think they broadcast from Tejuosho, if I'm right. Joyce Peters. She said, Nigeria has been called the 8th wonder in the world. Guys, episode 205 of The Bleeding Edge is exactly what we have just dealt with. Now, guys, from whichever page, Joyce Peters, please like the page on YouTube and then subscribe to the channel and then click following. Click the bell icon so that anytime a new stream is being streamed live, you will get the alert. And for those of you like Helen Obafemi and the rest watching the live stream on Facebook, just click like and then follow the page. Let's bring episode 205 of The Bleeding Edge to a close. Today, Sunday, the 16th day of the 10th month of October 2022. The time in London is 1854. Until next time, take good care of yourselves, and I wish you the very best in this new week coming. God bless you all. I hope you have a good time. Enjoy the rest of the day. God bless you. Goodbye.